You might think your emergency pantry is well stocked with 4 or 5 basic items. Cheap canned tuna, a can of cassoulet bought on sale, and a couple of random preserves that seemed convenient. Meanwhile, in the same supermarket aisles, there are canned meats that can last 10, 20 years, sometimes even longer, without losing any of their nutritional value. Yet most people walk right past them without noticing. I've spent weeks poring over ingredient lists, ENSA's technical sheets, data from European regulations on minimum durability, and feedback from families who have truly been stocking food for a decade. Here are the 20 canned meats to store for good, classified by function, not by brand, not by promotional flyers, not by seasonal sales, but by what genuinely lasts over time and what no mainstream magazine will ever explain to you so directly. That's because large retailers profit when you buy the cheapest options, and the government refers you to a 72-hour kit recommended by the General Secretariat for National Defense and Security without ever explaining how to build beyond that. 72 hours is what an average pantry provides. 30 days is what a thoughtfully planned pantry offers. The difference isn't in the budget, it's in the knowledge. Before we dive into the list, it's crucial to understand what never expires truly means. The phrase is both accurate and somewhat misleading. The official stance from regulatory bodies like ANSA's and DGCCRF is clear. The date of minimum durability, or DDM, is not a safety date. It's a quality and taste date. French law does not require an expiration date on sterilized canned goods in the sanitary sense. A properly sterilized can achieves what food science calls commercial sterility. The spores of Clostridium botulinum, responsible for botulism, are destroyed by the process. As long as the can is not bulging, rusted, or deformed, and its seal remains intact, the contents remain microbiologically stable for years, sometimes even decades. We'll start with fish, because this is where the majority of typical emergency food stocks present their biggest nutritional gaps. Essential fatty acids, omega, 3S, vitamin D, and calcium from edible bones. None of these come from an ordinary can of pâté. It's worth noting that deeper analyses exist, covering the complete mapping of hidden additives in lower-end canned goods, the E-codes deliberately concealed on labels, the exact calculation of household stock based on daily caloric needs for 30, 60, or 90 days, and the protocol for rotating and checking cans to detect spoilage before it becomes dangerous. This kind of detailed information is vital for true preparedness. First on our list are sardines in olive oil from La Belle, Eloy's Cannery. These are fished close to the coasts of Quiberon and hand-canned within 24 hours of arrival. A115 gram can contains approximately 2 to 3 grams of EPA and DHA, omega-3s, a dose that would cost over 20 euros per month if taken as supplements. Sardines are at the bottom of the food chain, meaning they don't accumulate mercury or PCBs that poison larger predators like swordfish or bluefin tuna. Number 2. Conatable natural sardines. These are widely available in all major supermarkets. They are affordably priced and have a much lower sodium content than the oil-packed version. For households where someone monitors their blood pressure, this is the version that should dominate your stock. They offer calcium, phosphorus, vitamin D, and omega-3s with a short ingredient list. If you're still watching, you already know more than most people who believe a pantry full of basic, low-quality cans is sufficient. This kind of knowledge is what the food industry prefers you not to have. Moving on to number 3, mackerel fillets in olive oil, either from Conatable or La Belle, Loeys. Mackerel is even denser in omega-3s than sardines. 100 grams can provide up to 4 grams of combined EPA and DHA. For brain function under prolonged stress, mood regulation during confinement, and reducing chronic inflammation. This is the most cost-effective nutritional weapon for your pantry space. Number 4 is albacore tuna from Petit Navire, sustainably fished, caught by pole and line, without drifting nets or fish aggregating devices. This method limits the capture of very large specimens that are often high in mercury. The ingredient list is minimalist. No added broth to inflate the weight. You pay for fish, and you get fish. Number 5. Natural tuna from Fare dec Mule, certified organic. For households with children, pregnant women, or immunocompromised individuals, this is the most stringent option on the French market. It boasts certified sustainable fishing, controlled heavy metal content, and no additives. It's more expensive, but it's a non-negotiable choice for those who cannot afford to take risks. Number 6. Canned pink Pacific salmon, imported under brands like Conatable or major supermarket-owned brands. This is wild Alaskan salmon, with bones softened by sterilization and entirely edible. The calcium from these bones becomes a serious asset as soon as fresh dairy products become unavailable. Now, let's turn to pure meats, an area where a large part of French culinary heritage is envied by most other countries, yet often overlooked by many preppers. Number 7. Duck leg confit from Comtesse du Barry, or artisanal jars from the Southwest. This is slow cooked in its own fat using a preservation technique that dates back long before refrigeration. This method existed precisely because it preserves meat for years without external intervention. A 745-gram can contains 2 whole duck legs, calorie-dense, with duck fat for cooking, and tender meat for a main meal. The preserve actually improves with age, much like a fine wine. Number 8. Hainaf pate, the small blue and yellow can. The recipe has been unchanged since 1915, featuring 91% pork, Guérande salt, no added colorings, preservatives, or texture agents. It is the best-selling canned pate in France, and for good reason. It's energy-dense, versatile, and universally appreciated at the table. Number 9. Hereford corned beef. This was the meat of the French soldiers in 1914. A 340-gram can contains nearly 75% cooked, salted beef, preserved by pure sterilization. The French called it monkey meat during the Great War, and it fed millions of men for 4 years in the trenches. Diced with potatoes, mixed with lentils or rice, just one can transforms a bland meal into a hearty one. Number 10. Canned ham from Madrange, or the premium version from Herta. Read the label carefully. Look for a minimum of 90% ham, with no added starch, excessive gelatin, or artificial flavors. The role of canned ham in a prolonged crisis isn't just caloric intake. It's about maintaining a sense of normality at the table. For those who have experienced situations where they've eaten the same dish for 10 days straight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 11. Canned Strasbourg sausages from brands like Stoffler or Herta, available in all major supermarkets. They are affordably priced, have a shelf life of over 3 years in a sealed can, can be cooked immediately in a pan or water, or even consumed cold in a total power outage. Number 12. Pork rillettes from Chedeville or Hainaf, preserved in their own fat. This uses the exact same physical principle as duck confit. The fat seals the meat, preventing oxygen penetration, and the product remains stable for years. It's caloric, spreadable, and works on fresh bread, dry bread, rusks, buckwheat galettes, or corn tortillas, offering maximum versatility. Number 13. Country pâté from Reflets de France, or artisanal brands in jars. Reflets de France was created in 1996, validated by Chef Joël Robuchon, and distributed by Carrefour. The range adheres to strict regional specifications with authentic local recipes. Number 14. Canned duck foie gras, available from Comtesse du Barry, regional brands from the Gers region, or in supermarkets under the Reflets de France brand. Long sterilization allows for several years of preservation without any loss in quality. The role of foie gras in a food stock isn't daily nutrition. It's about boosting morale at the table on a winter Sunday after 4 weeks of basic meals. No other canned food fulfills this particular function. Now, let's move on to complete meals. While every product mentioned so far requires an accompaniment, these 6 need nothing else. Simply open the can, heat, and the meal is served. Number 15. Cassoulet from William Saurin, or the Comtesse du Barry version. White beans, Toulouse sausage, duck confit, or pork leg. This offers high caloric density, enough to sustain a day of effort in the cold. It delivers the authentic taste of the Southwest and a balanced nutritional profile of proteins, complex carbohydrates, and lipids. Number 16. Canned beef bourguignon from Reynal and Roquelaure or William Saurin. Chunks of beef, wine sauce, carrots, onions, and lardons. This is a complete and recognizable French dish, with no chemical preservation beyond thermal sterilization. Served over rice, potatoes, or simply with bread, it's a meal that truly feels like a meal. In a prolonged crisis, this detail is priceless. Number 17. Canned garnished sauerkraut from William Saurin, Reichert, or regional Alsatian brands. Fermented sauerkraut, smoked lard, Strasbourg sausages, sometimes ham. The lactic fermentation provides intestinal benefits that classic canned goods don't offer. Its caloric density can sustain several hours of physical work. Number 18. Canned coq au vin, either the Reynal and Roquelaure or Reflets de France version. Chicken pieces in red wine sauce, mushrooms, and onions. Quick to open and heats in 5 minutes. Serve with rice or pasta. It has a shelf life of at least 3 to 4 years, often much longer depending on storage conditions. Number 19. Auvergne tripou, or canned sausage and lentils. These regional dishes from the Massif Central are rich in complete proteins due to the combination of meat and legumes. The lentils continue to rehydrate and swell in the sauce after opening. Available from Reflets de France or through regional short supply chains. Number 20. Ox tongue in Madeira sauce, or pig's feet in aspic. These are noble cuts and offal, often forgotten by the modern public, but they constitute exceptional recovery food. They are rich in collagen, gelatin, and minerals that classic muscle meats don't provide. The natural jelly acts as a second layer of preservation after sterilization. Available from traditional butchers and some city center supermarkets. There you have the complete breakdown. 20 canned foods, 5 functions, 1 system. Fish covers micronutrients and omega-3s that nothing else provides. Pure meats cover accessible daily protein. Rillettes, pâtés, and confits cover energy density and versatility. Complete meals are for days when you no longer have the energy to cook. And offal and foie gras cover morale at the table during long periods. Each product on this list meets the standard of short ingredient lists, classic sterilization processes, and real food.